Picture this. While most people think of pumpkins as those cheerful Halloween decorations weighing maybe 10 or 15 pounds, somewhere in America, farmers are nurturing orange monsters that tip the scales at over 2,700 pounds, heavier than a compact car. In 2023, the world record reached a staggering 2,149 pounds, grown in California, a state that dominates nearly 40% of global giant pumpkin competitions. These aren't your grandmother's jack-o'-lanterns. We're talking about botanical behemoths that can gain 50 pounds in a single day during peak growing season. While a typical pumpkin might feed a family of 4, these giants could theoretically feed a small village. If anyone actually ate them, which they rarely do, the numbers are mind-boggling. Over 3,000 competitive growers across North America dedicate their lives to this pursuit, creating a niche industry worth $15 million annually. Seeds from champion pumpkins sell for up to $2,000 each, more expensive per ounce than gold. Some prize-winning specimens command seed prices reaching $10,000, creating an exclusive genetic marketplace that rivals rare art auctions. But here's where it gets really interesting. These agricultural artists aren't just growing vegetables. They're pushing the boundaries of plant biology, developing techniques that could revolutionize commercial farming. Join us as we dive into the fascinating world of competitive pumpkin growing, where science meets obsession, and where the pursuit of the perfect giant reveals both human ingenuity and our complex relationship with nature's limits. Giant pumpkin cultivation began as a quirky hobby in the 1970s when Canadian farmer Howard Dill started experimenting with selective breeding. What started as backyard curiosity has evolved into a sophisticated agricultural science that attracts botanists, engineers, and weekend warriors alike. Today, this specialized industry exists because these massive specimens represent the ultimate test of growing skill, genetic knowledge, and environmental control. The economic drivers are surprisingly diverse. Beyond the obvious competition prizes, some reaching $30,000 for a single pumpkin, there's a thriving seed market, agricultural tourism, and research applications. Prize-winning pumpkins become genetic gold mines, with their seeds distributed globally to growers seeking that perfect DNA combination. Rural communities have transformed family farms into destinations, hosting festivals that attract over 50,000 visitors annually. What makes these pumpkins valuable isn't just their size, it's what they represent. Each giant pumpkin embodies months of precise environmental manipulation, genetic selection, and technological innovation. The techniques developed for growing these monsters have practical applications: improved irrigation systems, advanced soil chemistry, and plant stress monitoring that benefits commercial agriculture worldwide. Annual production numbers tell the story of this growth. Competitive events now occur across 6 continents, with over 200 sanctioned weigh-offs globally. The United States alone hosts 150-plus competitions each fall, generating millions in tourism revenue. Prize money has increased 400% over the past decade, reflecting growing sponsor interest and media attention. Once feared as agricultural oddities, these giant pumpkins are now valued as living laboratories, teaching us about plant genetics, resource optimization, and the delicate balance between nurture and nature in modern farming. Everything starts with the seed, but not just any seed. Competitive growers hunt for genetics from previous champions, paying premium prices for what amounts to botanical lottery tickets. A single seed from a 2,000-pound pumpkin might cost $200, while seeds from world record holders command thousands. Growers study pedigree charts like horse breeders, tracing genetic lineages back multiple generations. The selection process is scientific and ruthless. Seeds undergo germination tests in controlled environments, with temperatures maintained at exactly 85 degrees and humidity at 85%. Only the fastest sprouting, most vigorous seedlings make the cut. Growers plant 10-15 seeds, but will ultimately nurture just one plant to maturity, the botanical equivalent of raising a prize racehorse. Site preparation begins months in advance. The growing area, typically 1,500 square feet per plant, receives intensive soil conditioning. Growers add 6 to 8 inches of compost, adjust pH to precisely 6.5–6.8, and install sophisticated drainage systems. The soil is tested weekly for 16 different nutrients, with adjustments made based on computer analysis that would make NASA engineers proud. Temperature control is critical from day one. Many growers construct temporary greenhouses or hoop houses to protect young plants from temperature fluctuations. Even a brief exposure to temperatures below 50 degrees can stunt growth permanently. Soil temperature monitors track ground conditions 24/7, with heating cables installed if necessary. The planting ritual occurs in late April or early May, depending on location. Seeds are planted exactly 1 inch deep, with the pointed end oriented slightly downward. The initial watering is measured to the ounce. Too much causes rot, too little prevents germination. Within 7 to 10 days, the first green shoots emerge, marking the beginning of a 120-day botanical marathon that will consume the grower's entire summer. During these crucial first weeks, protection is paramount. Copper shields guard against cutworms. Row covers prevent wind damage, and some growers even play classical music, believing it stimulates growth. As the plant enters its explosive growth phase, the complexity intensifies dramatically. What began as a simple seedling transforms into a sprawling vine network that can cover an area larger than a tennis court. The main vine grows 12 to 18 inches daily during peak season, requiring constant guidance and support. Water management becomes a science unto itself. Mature plants consume 300 to 500 gallons daily, enough to supply a family of 4 for a week. Automated irrigation systems deliver moisture through buried drip lines, with computer-controlled valves adjusting flow based on soil moisture sensors, weather data, and growth stage algorithms. Some growers install backup generators to ensure uninterrupted water flow during power outages. Fertilization follows precise schedules that would impress pharmaceutical manufacturers. Applications occur every 48 hours using custom nutrient blends tailored to growth phases. Early season feeds emphasize nitrogen for vine development, while later applications shift to potassium and phosphorus for fruit development. Foliar feeding through leaf spray provides additional nutrients, with some growers applying supplements as often as daily. The vine training process resembles botanical choreography. Secondary vines are positioned to create optimal leaf coverage while preventing overcrowding. Each vine is supported with foam padding where it touches the ground, preventing damage that could compromise nutrient flow. Growers perform vine surgery, removing excess shoots and redirecting energy toward the primary fruit. Perhaps most critically, flower management determines ultimate success. Plants produce both male and female flowers, but only 2 to 3 female flowers will be hand-pollinated. Growers cover female flowers with mesh bags to prevent random pollination, then carefully transfer pollen using soft brushes during the narrow 6-hour window when flowers are receptive. Once pollination succeeds, fruit selection begins. Multiple small pumpkins may develop, but only one will be chosen as the keeper. The selection happens around day 45, based on growth rate, shape, and position. The rejected fruits are culled ruthlessly, a decision that can make or break an entire season's effort. The final weeks before harvest create intense drama, as pumpkins can gain 30 to 40 pounds daily. Growers construct protective shelters, mini pavilions with adjustable walls that shield fruits from sun, rain, and temperature swings. Some installations cost $5,000 and include climate control systems more sophisticated than many homes. Harvest timing is critical and nerve-wracking. Too early, and the pumpkin hasn't reached full potential. Too late, and the bottom may rot or the stem may separate. Experienced growers watch for telltale signs. The stem begins browning, the skin develops a matte finish, and the bottom starts yellowing. Most harvests occur in early October, precisely timed for competition schedules. The harvesting process itself requires engineering precision. Moving a 2,000-pound pumpkin without damage demands specialized equipment. Many growers construct custom lifting devices using winches, pulleys, and foam-padded slings. The pumpkin is gradually lifted onto a reinforced trailer, with every movement carefully calculated to prevent stress fractures. Transportation to competitions becomes a logistical challenge rivaling military operations. Pumpkins travel on custom trailers with air ride suspension, padded compartments, and sometimes even escorts. Insurance policies can reach $10,000 for a single pumpkin's transport, reflecting both the financial and emotional investment involved. At weigh-offs, certified scales measure to the tenth of a pound. Official measurements include length, width, and circumference, with strict protocols preventing any enhancement. Winners receive cash prizes, trophies, and most importantly, the right to sell their seeds at premium prices. A single world record pumpkin can generate 50,000 plows in seed sales over subsequent years. Different categories reward various achievements: heaviest pumpkin, best color, most unusual shape. Even non-winning giants have value. Many are donated to zoos for animal enrichment or carved into elaborate displays. Some growers save portions for next year's compost, completing the cycle from seed to soil. The economic ripple effects extend far beyond individual growers, supporting equipment manufacturers, seed dealers, transportation specialists, and event organizers in a surprisingly robust agricultural ecosystem. The giant pumpkin industry employs over 8,000 people directly across North America, from specialized equipment manufacturers to competition organizers. Rural communities have discovered these events generate substantial tourism revenue, with major competitions attracting 30,000 to 75,000 visitors annually. Hotels, restaurants, and local businesses report their busiest weekends, coinciding with weigh-off events. The ripple effects extend internationally. Seeds from American champions are exported to 30-plus countries, creating a global genetic marketplace. Japanese growers pay premium prices for North American genetics, while European competitors contribute their own innovations in greenhouse cultivation techniques. This international exchange has accelerated genetic improvements and growing techniques worldwide. Equipment suppliers have emerged to serve this niche market. Companies manufacture specialized irrigation systems, custom fertilizer blends, and protective shelters exclusively for giant pumpkin growers. One manufacturer reports $3 million in annual sales of giant pumpkin-specific products, employing 35 people full-time in what was previously non-existent market segment. Agricultural universities now study giant pumpkin techniques for broader applications. Irrigation efficiency improvements, soil amendment strategies, and plant stress monitoring systems developed for competition growing are being adapted for commercial vegetable production. The University of California estimates that techniques pioneered by giant pumpkin growers have improved commercial squash yields by 18% statewide. The social impact transcends economics. Growing communities provide support networks for rural families, particularly retirees who find purpose and community in this shared obsession. Multi-generational growing teams pass knowledge between family members, preserving agricultural traditions while embracing technological innovation. Export markets continue expanding, with Australia, New Zealand, and South Africa establishing their own competition circuits. The total global economic impact now exceeds $45 million annually, remarkable for an industry that barely existed 30 years ago, demonstrating how niche agricultural pursuits can evolve into significant economic drivers. Behind the fascination lies a troubling environmental reality. Each giant pumpkin consumes water resources equivalent to growing 200 normal pumpkins, raising serious sustainability questions during an era of increasing water scarcity. A single competitive plant uses 25,000 to 40,000 gallons per season, enough to supply drinking water for 50 people for an entire year. The ethical debate intensifies when considering global food security. Critics argue that dedicating prime agricultural land, advanced irrigation systems, and premium nutrients to growing inedible novelties represents moral negligence, while 800 million people worldwide face hunger. Defenders counter that the research and techniques developed benefit commercial agriculture, ultimately improving food production efficiency. Environmental concerns extend beyond water usage. The intensive fertilization required can contribute to groundwater contamination and soil degradation. Plastic shelters, irrigation components, and transportation fuel create substantial carbon footprints for what amounts to agricultural entertainment. Some competitions now offset carbon emissions and promote sustainable growing practices, but environmental impact remains significant. Labor considerations add another dimension. While most competitive growers are hobbyists, the industry increasingly relies on seasonal workers for site preparation, maintenance, and harvest support. Ensuring fair wages and safe working conditions in this unregulated agricultural niche presents ongoing challenges. Yet perhaps these botanical extremes serve a deeper purpose. Giant pumpkins capture imaginations, inspiring agricultural interest among urban populations increasingly disconnected from farming. They demonstrate plant potential in ways that textbooks cannot, possibly inspiring the next generation of agricultural innovators who will address global food security challenges. The pursuit of the perfect giant pumpkin reveals humanity's complex relationship with nature, our desire to push limits, create beauty, and achieve the seemingly impossible. Whether this represents agricultural artistry or resource waste may depend on your perspective, but the dedication, innovation, and community these orange giants inspire is undeniably real. What do you think? Does the giant pumpkin industry represent human ingenuity at its finest, or an example of misplaced priorities in a resource-constrained world? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more fascinating stories from the intersection of agriculture, science, and human obsession.